Hi everybody, it's Ben here from Art Less Ordinary. So, I'm going to do a flip cup tonight. I've already pre-mixed my paints. I'm doing a blue theme. So I've got cool blue, cobalt hue. I'm adding purple into it just to give it another extra colour. And blueberry, which is I think it is a limited edition. They just haven't put the sticker on it. So the blueberry is kind of like a grey blue. So that's the four colours plus black and white. So with these ones, I have mixed them with my Elmers clear glue 70% and water 30% pouring medium. So I make these up in the bigger bottle, shake it all up until it's mixed, and then let it settle for a few days until all the bubbles go away. You still get a couple of bubbles when you mix the paints in, but that always happens. And the black and the white are the same. They're eraldo paulo paints as well. So this is a canvas from last night. Complete mess. I've recorded it, but I'm not going to use it. I'd been stung by a bee, my hand was all swollen, nothing was going right. So I thought, I'm not even going to look at it. And the painting just turned out absolutely horrible. So normally I post everything that I do, even if it isn't up to scratch, just so people can see my mistakes. But there was just a mistake from the start, even trying to do a painting. I was in pain, I was grumpy, so better off I didn't do one. So I scraped the paint off this canvas. The canvas is dry. The paint in the bottom of the tray is still a little bit wet, so I've had to leave that there. So I have also added 4 drops in the 4 colours, not the black and white, of helmars silicone oil. And these were mixed 50% paint, 50% pouring medium. But I had to add a splash of water into a couple of colours just till I got the right consistency, because they don't all come out the same consistency. So I'm just giving them a quick stir because I put the silicone oil in about 10 minutes or so ago. Sometimes they thicken up the paints as well a little bit. They do seem a little bit thick, but I'm not going to add more water to them now. I think I'm just going to go with it. It's very cold. It's only a few degrees Celsius here tonight, so I would like the blue to be on the bottom, which means it will be on the top. My cups I have sprayed with just a WD-40 silicone spray and wiped it out, so then the paint comes out of them a bit easier. And in total, I've got about 600 grams of paint. So I'm probably gonna only be able to do 2 layers worth. I always seem to do the bottom layer a little bit heavier than the other layers. It just always works out that way when I do it. So I'm trying to do colours in a light and a dark order. It's just a matter of, I don't want to pour them in heavy. I'm going to try and layer them in colours if I can. So I don't often actually reuse old canvases. If I do a failed painting, I usually just leave it to dry, but there was no point leaving that one to dry. It was never going to ever be anything to anybody. So I thought if I do a lighter blue, then a black, then the blueberry, then we'll go a darker blue, Sorry, I'm being a little bit haphazard. I'm trying to rush, so I like to show people how I layer the cups and what order I do them in. At the same time, I don't want to bore everybody with just paint layering, because you can always skip through it if it does not interest you. I'm just making a huge mess on the top of the cups and trying to... today hasn't been a fantastic day either, but that's why I do a painting, to make my days better. So I like to have the white next to a darker blue and a purple, because it will give me different tones of blue and of purple by mixing with the white. So that's usually why I have try and put that in that order. Now we'll do the second layer. So I used to use a lot less paint when I did my flip cups. This is probably the first time I'm actually going to be using so much paint. So someone that does flip cups for a really long time and is quite a professional at it gave me a couple of pointers. So why would I turn down information from someone that has done it for years and is quite well respected? So after Julie gave me a couple of tips, Julie Cuts from Pouring Your Heart Out, I thought, no, I'm going to see how I go doing it with a little bit of advice and help, which is really good. That's the great thing about some of the groups, and that some experienced people are really happy to help give you some information and give you a few ideas of how you could do things a bit different or a bit better. My flip cup turned out good, but I think my cells might have been a little bit more stretched out. So, but I've done some flip cups with really minimal paint, and I had to stretch every cell that I had just so I could cover the canvas, and they're awesome flip cups. So it's just, sometimes it's just a matter of trying a few different ideas, but I thought if I'm going to get some advice, I'm going to listen and see what results I get and how I like it in the end. Yeah, so I probably would have, probably by now, I would have been pouring these out. I would have thought, no, that's way too much paint. So yeah, this is going to be interesting. I was unsure what colours to use, but I don't want to always keep... I like purple, but I don't want to keep doing purple. People are probably going, I've had enough purple, so... in saying that, my next one will probably end up having purple in it, so I thought I'll just do one a little bit different. I'm actually doing this a little bit late at night, or should I say early in the morning. I've had a busy day and I wasn't going to actually do a video, but I thought, no, I really don't really enjoy doing them. I want to do one even though it's a little bit late at night. It's my day off, so I don't have to go to work today. Well, I didn't go to work today and I don't have to go tomorrow, so I thought I can have a little bit of a later night. If I do that, then I can upload the video while I'm sleeping, so I don't have to... I can't use my internet much when I'm uploading a video because it takes up a lot of my bandwidth. Oh goodness, these cups are really full. So it'd be good to see the difference that I get by having so much extra paint in my cups. Looking forward to seeing what different results I get from it. So, and I know my pop sticks have holes in them. They were cheaper at the time. And I wanted to spend more money on paint than I did on pop sticks. So if I saved 50 cents, that gave me 50 cents more to put towards paint. So there's method to my madness. And because I have made these paints up tonight, there may be some air bubbles in them. There doesn't seem to be a lot, but I always get a little bit when I do a glue mixture. So the Floetrol ones don't seem to have as much paint air bubbles floating through them, but the glue one does. But you will get different effects too using Floetrol compared to using a glue pouring medium or even a professional pouring medium. So sometimes use different ones at different times to see what you get. Okay, I'm going to put gloves on because I'm going to be messy. And I'm going to pull my sleeves up so I don't dip them in paint somehow. So I hope everyone's been enjoying the videos. I really enjoy making them. This is a lot of fun for me. Okay. So you'll see the paint start pulling away from the bottom of these cups, starting to do on that one there and this one here. So that's by when I spray the cup with silicone. It just means there's not so much paint left in the bottom of the cup. A lot gets wasted when it sits in the cup, it just sticks. So this is a good way of actually allowing your paints to kind of come out of the cup a little bit better. I'm already getting some cells, so I'll show you what I use. There's all that I use. I just get it from the local hardware store. I just spray the cup, then I wipe it out with a paper towel, and quite happy with these results. So when you watch YouTube videos, you'll learn bits and pieces from all different people. And I don't always even remember who I learn everything from because I watch a lot of videos myself. And you'll see bits and pieces. Sometimes it sinks in, sometimes it doesn't. But that's the fun part about it. And yeah, you just learn it as you go. And then when you start doing it yourself, you'll also pick up your own little things that seem to work better for you. Okay, so I'm going to do this now. So 1, 2... paint feels thick. So I am just emptying the excess of this cup onto my corners. And if I also put it anywhere, I put it on the edges. I feel like I've got more paint in my cup than I'd actually do on the canvas. So all this extra stuff that I'm pouring on now will end up being tipped off when I stretch my paint. So I don't care so much that it looks a little bit ugly on the edges because it's not going to stay. Yeah, definitely thick paint. Probably could have thinned it a little bit more. It's really hard. Winter weather's really altering things for me. So next one. And this one I'm just going to let run out onto the bottom, which will get tipped off. So all of that's doing is just helping the paint, when I go to tilt the paint, it will just help it fall off the edges easier because it's not going to stick. But it wouldn't stick to this too much either because it was already pre-painted and dried. But yeah, just helps it a little bit. And your other option is just keep in mind it does have silicone in it. You can actually keep the bits and pieces from the bottom of your cups, put them all into one cup and use it as like a flow extender. So if you've got a painting that you kind of need the paint to go over the edge, you put it there so it kind of helps it. But don't always do that when it's got silicone in it, unless you're going to use it on a painting that you want to extend, which has silicone in it as well. So, because you'll always have little bits left over that will, bits of silicone will always be in the paint that you're using on here now. So I usually just try to pour it onto the very edges, knowing that I will end up tipping it off. So if I was to mix these paints up again after seeing how they're behaving now, I would have added a little bit more water. And don't ever bring your cup over the top of your canvas. I've made that mistake too many times, and same with your dirty hands. I've pulled them over the canvas and I've ruined everything. So, my little torch has been a little bit troublesome lately. Doesn't want to light, so I'm going to use a lighter. So I can see bubbles, and I'm hoping that they will want to pop on their own without me getting too close. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. And it looks like today's one of those days they don't want to pop on their own. So I've gotten slightly closer in a couple of spots, which is bringing up a lot of cells. I'm trying my best not to, but I'm also trying to pop the bubbles. And again, I mixed my silicone in well, so I'm getting lots of small cells. So I'm going to stretch it, and then I possibly may torch it again afterwards. Not sure. But definitely a lot more paint than I'm used to. It's heavy. It's kind of cool, but I got to make sure I get off the old paint that I'd poured onto the corner. This is quite different. I'm not used to working with paint that's this thick, like not thick as in thick paint, but this much paint on the canvas. It's actually quite interesting. I'm going to spin it around, so don't bring your hand over the canvas when you do that either. Always got to teach yourself little habits that you don't want to do. So one thing you don't want to do is bring your hands over the top of a canvas. You will drip paint and there won't be anything that you can do about it once you've done it. Okay, so a little bit more that way, a little bit more that way. Excellent. So I do have to go this side because I've got that bare patch over here. So I'm just going to go slowly with that. Alrighty, a little bit on the corner. Okay. Now just watch it as you bring it back. If it looks like some are going a little bit too funny a shape, change your angle. So my paint is mostly back in the middle. And now I just have to decide if there is anything else I want to tip off or get rid of. Not so much. I'm actually quite pleased with the way that this is looking. Let me just put him back down, move my hands and check my corners. Okay, that corner there. Needed a tad. That corner there looks like it's gone over well. That corner has, and this corner, yeah, just a tiny bit. So I got to get my gloves off because I don't want to drip paint. So I have done enough tilting that I was going to tilt, and I've ended up with a lot of purple at the top. So some paint came through. So I'm just going to have a look. Ooh, I've got quite a few air bubbles. I'm just going to try and heat it up, but I don't want to get too close. And I'm just going to see if that does anything with those air bubbles or not. So I can see them popping. They aren't really creating too many cells, which is what I want. I wanted them to pop without creating a lot of problems by changing the pattern too much. So if you see a spot that looks a little bit plain, you can just try to get a little bit closer, but don't overdo it. As soon as you see a couple pop up, stop torching or move away from that spot. If you like having cell explosions, which is what I occasionally get on some of mine, then by all means get close with the torch and bring up a bunch of cells. Sorry, it's hard to talk over that noise, isn't it? So if you really do like lots of cells, get a little bit close and see how I'm getting little ones come up here where I got a little bit closer, but that was very plain. I wanted something in there. I accidentally got close over here, which brought up a bunch of little cells. So this is different. I'm not sure if I'm loving the way the colours have turned out. I like the colours. I'm just, sometimes it's hard to always tell exactly what you think. And you know what? If I turn it around, I might actually like it. But I always leave these. So to me, this is a nice painting. I'm happy to keep it as it is. I did get 2 kind of purple lines in there where the cups have all joined up. Only one thing I've noticed is that third is a bigger, that's a medium third, and that's a smaller third. So I probably would prefer to try to keep it, if I'm going to have the lines, I prefer to either keep it so it's not, the lines are on angles and not so much in thirds, but in different proportioned thirds. But I'm not going to try and tilt or change any of that now. It's late, I'm tired, and my brain isn't actually thinking to know whether I absolutely love it or I just like it. But this is it. Have fun with it. And you know what, if after a day or so you're not liking it, ask somebody else. Other people may turn around and go, you know what, I love that. And it will be different. Some people will say they love everything. Like, especially if it's a friend or a work colleague might say they love every piece of work that you do. I tell my friends, I want them to be honest and bluntly honest. It's what I need to know if majority of people are liking it and it's just me that hates it, or whether it's a little bit. My mum's good with that. I always say to my mum, tell me honestly, do you like it that much? So I don't like it, and she'll go, no, I'm not that keen either. So it's good to kind of get ideas and all that. But I'm going to bring you down for a close-up. There we go. Whoa, I just noticed this is a little bit of a longer video than normal. Sorry about that, everyone. But yeah, looking pretty cool. Does have lots of cells. They are starting to push into each other and change the shapes. That's where I got a bunch of little ones that I decided to get on, get a little bit closer because it was a bit of a bare patch. And we come up here to some nice purple ones. And the other area I got close where I got tons of little cells is over here. See how there's a whole little bunch of ones in there? But that is pretty cool. Just depends if you like it or not. Some people do, some people don't. But overall, that's my painting. I don't think it's going to dry very much differently. One thing I haven't done on camera, but I'll do off, is scrape the edges. Scrape the edges so the paint doesn't keep rolling off. Alright, have a good one. Subscribe if you haven't already. Share, like, leave comments, and I will see you next time. Have a great day. Bye.